Hello, students. How are you? I am just thinking about you that, and also having one hope that you are all busy with your study. So, students, in this video lecture, we are going to talk about one your interesting and important chapter from your first flight textbook. Students, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about one chapter, that is a letter to God. This will be the first chapter, a letter to God. So, in this chapter, we are going to meet one person. Yeah, of course, we are going to meet with one person, and he is Lencho. Okay, so Lencho is a farmer, and he just wasted is all and destroyed his crops because of bad weather, and he wants something from God. So, what will be the ending, and what will be the scene in this story we are going to discuss? So, let's have one overview about this. So before you read, you should have one overview of this chapter so that it can help you. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss about one word, that is the peso. Peso means the currency of several Latin American countries. Okay, students, and there will be some hard words. So we are going to discuss about them. Let's have one overview of this chapter. Now we are going to start. They say faith can move mountains. Yes, it's true. But what should we put our faith in? This is the questions this story delicately poses. Lencio is a farmer who writes a letter to God when his crops are ruined, asking for 100 peso. So in this story, you are going to just see one person who is Lencho, and he is a farmer, and he just had a bad time of destroying his crops, and because of that he is going to ask for money, but he was confused, so he thought that the destroy of these crops happened due to God, so he wanted the money from the God only. So now you should have some questions related to this overview. What are these? So let's see. Does Lencho's letter reach God? You should think about it. And if it reach, does God send him the money? Think what your answers to these questions would be, and guess how the story continues before you begin to read it. Now we are going to read it, the story. Okay, so the house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height, one could see the river, the field of ripe corn, dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. Okay, so this is the first paragraph, and now you will be having some hard words like this word crest. Crest means a top of the hill. Okay, so this is the hill, and this will be the crest. Okay, so crest means a top of hill, and another hard word is ripe corn, means the corns that are ready to eat or ready to sell. Dotted with flowers, it means having flowers, and harvest means agricultural crop. Okay, so these are the hard words, and you should know all these things. Next, so he is the Lencho, and the only thing the earth needed was a downfall, or at least a sword. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had one nothing but else but see the sky towards the northeast. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper, supper means dinner, replied, yes, good, God willing. The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, come for dinner. It was during the meal that Just as Lencho had predicted, big drops of the rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. Predicted means the future statement. Okay, so next, the man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body, and when he returned, he exclaimed, "These are not raindrops falling from the sky, they are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces, and the little ones are fives." Okay? With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers, draped, means covered or covered with cloth, in a curtain of rain. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen fuels. "It is really getting bad now," exclaimed the man. "I hope it passes quickly." It didn't pass quickly. For an hour, the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white, as if covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons, "A flag of locusts would have leapt more than this. The hell has leapt nothing. This year we will have no corn." That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There is no one who can help us. We all will all go hungry this year. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope: help from God. Don't be so upset, even though this seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lenchu thought only of his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's concern. Lenchu was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday, at daybreak, he began to write a letter, which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. "God," he wrote, "if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 peso in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes, because the hailstone He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled, went to town. At the post office, He placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss, laughing heartily, and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that his address. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, means friendly and pleasant, okay, also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and tapping on the letter on his desk commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. And the idea was answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But stuck to his resolution, he asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature, God. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence. But he became angry when he counted the money. God couldn't have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. Immediately, Lencho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with the blow of his fist. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, "God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me." Send me the rest, please, since I need it very much. But please don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. So now, students, this chapter now has been ended, as you can see, and you should have these some hard words. Like if you are going to see, so first page you can see this overview, and I have just put some hard words for you like this. If you are going to see the hard words of the chapters, you can see in the brackets I have written the hard words meaning carefully. So if you have still doubt, then you can just Google it, but don't worry about this. This is the a letter to God, and we have finished it. And this is a very simple story of a farmer who is just keeping a hope, writing a letter to God, just imagining that he will be receiving something from God. And this is very marvelous story. So students, now we are just completed this. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned. Okay, students, always the definite statement for all of you, always keep learning. Okay, bye bye, take care. And the next video will be for Nelson Mandela. Bye bye, take care.